A narcissist feeds on your softness. Starve them by setting firm boundaries. But let's really break that down. Let's take it deeper and talk about it the way it actually happens in real life, step by step, moment by moment. Because people think softness means kindness or patience or compassion. But with a narcissist, your softness becomes their fuel. Your understanding becomes their advantage. Your forgiveness becomes their permission. And before you even realize what's happening, you're giving them a front row seat to your heart while they're sitting there thinking about how to run the whole show. See, some people don't respond to kindness with gratitude. They respond to kindness with greed. They take it like it's an open invitation to take more, expect more, demand more. And when you finally wake up and stop giving, they start acting like you switched up on them, when the truth is they've been switching up on you since day one. That's why boundaries are everything. Not the weak kind where you say, I don't like that, but still let them do it. Not the kind where you warn them 10 times but never move different. I'm talking about real boundaries, the kind that don't need a speech, don't need a debate, don't need a lecture, the kind that show up in your actions, your decisions, your silence, your distance. You starve a narcissist by refusing to play their game. They want reaction. You give them calm. They want to argue. You give them space. They want to guilt trip you. You stand on your truth. They want to make you question your worth. You level up and make it undeniable, because that's the part they'll never understand. Your power grows the moment their voice stops being the loudest in your life. A narcissist survives on emotional chaos the way people survive on oxygen. If you're always explaining yourself, defending yourself, proving yourself, begging to be understood, you're feeding the same cycle that's draining you. You're giving energy to a person who wouldn't give you honesty if their life depended on it. So you got to switch energy. Your softness doesn't need to disappear. It needs protection. Not everyone deserves access to the best parts of you. Not everyone deserves the version of you that listens deeply, loves honestly, forgives freely. You've been treating everybody like they're deserving, while some of them ain't even qualified. When you set boundaries, they'll call you cold. They'll call you selfish. They'll call you distant. But notice, they only say that when you stop letting them use you. They only say that when you stop letting them drain your peace. They only say that when you finally stand up for yourself. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors. And you decide who gets a key. You decide who gets access. You decide who walks in and who gets locked out. That's not cruelty. That's maturity. That's clarity. That's self-respect. And let's be real, a narcissist doesn't love you. They love the version of you that delivers, that forgives, that tolerates, that absorbs the impact of their behavior. The moment you stop being that version, the illusion breaks. That's when you find out the truth. Not about them, but about you. You find out you're stronger than you thought. You find out you can walk away from what isn't healthy. You find out you can rebuild your peace from scratch. You find out that your softness isn't a weakness. It's a gift you've been given to the wrong person. Setting boundaries feels uncomfortable at first because you're used to carrying people who were never meant to be on your shoulders. But once you put that weight down, once you reclaim your time, your energy, your mental space, you start to breathe different. You start to think sharper. You start to feel lighter. And that's how you starve a narcissist. Not by fighting, not by proving, not by explaining, but by choosing yourself unapologetically. You take your softness back. You take your heart back. You take your peace back. And once you do that, they can't feed on you anymore. They can't drain you anymore. They can't control you anymore, because you stop giving the very thing they were surviving on: your access, your attention, your energy. And that That's the beginning of getting your life back. Don't argue with manipulation. Respond with clarity and distance. That's a lesson you don't learn in one moment. You learn it through scars, through silence, through all the times you tried to explain yourself to someone who had no intention of understanding you. Manipulators don't want the truth. They want control. They want you emotional, reactive, defending yourself, breaking your own peace just to prove something to someone who already made up their mind. But let me tell you something real. You don't win a game that was rigged before you even showed up. You don't argue with someone who twists every word you say into a weapon pointed back at you. You don't debate with a person who listens just long enough to flip the script and make the whole situation about them. The moment you start arguing with manipulation, you already lost your leverage. You stepped into their arena, and their arena is built to confuse you, frustrate you, wear you down. That's why you got to move different. You got to stop reacting and start recognizing. Stop explaining and start observing. Stop fighting and start distancing. Clarity is your power. Distance is your peace. See, when you respond with clarity, you strip the drama out of the situation. You take the emotion out of their grip. You don't give them the fuel they're hunting for. Manipulators feed on confusion. It's their home court advantage. So when you get clear, when you keep your words simple, direct, neutral, it throws them off. It takes away the room they need to twist things. It removes the chaos they operate in. And distance. That's your shield. That's your oxygen. That's the space where you stop being controlled and start being conscious. Because around a manipulator, your mind becomes a battlefield. They push buttons you didn't even know existed. They make you question your own perception, your own memory, your own reality. And when someone has that power over you, the only real answer is space, emotional space, mental space, physical space, if needed. You don't argue with someone who's committed to misunderstanding you. You don't chase validation from someone who benefits from confusing you. You don't break yourself trying to fix someone who manipulates every truth you hand them. Instead, you get centered. You get still. You get grounded in who you are, what you saw, what you felt, what you know. Because clarity isn't loud. Clarity is calm. It's the voice inside that says, this ain't right. Even when the manipulator is doing everything possible to make you feel like you're wrong. Distance gives you your vision back. When you step away, patterns become clear. The same tricks, the same cycles, the same tactics. They start repeating like a song. You finally hear the lyrics to. You notice how they push for attention when they feel you pulling away. You notice how they suddenly pretend to care when they need something. You notice how every apology has an agenda behind it. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. But the most powerful part, when you stop arguing and start distancing, you take back your emotional energy. You take back your self-control. You stop letting someone else's instability create instability in you. You stop letting someone else's manipulation become your morning, your mood, your mindset. You're not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to face themselves. You're not obligated to participate in conversations that are designed to twist you up. You're not required to respond to every lie, every guilt trip, every mind game. Clarity sounds like, I understand what you're trying to do, and I'm not participating. Distance looks like, I'm protecting my peace, even if you don't like it. You don't need to make a scene. You don't need to shout. Or you don't need to defend what's already true. Let your actions be the response. Let your silence be the boundary. Let your distance be the self-respect. Because manipulators can't operate in environments where clarity exists, and they can't control someone who isn't emotionally available for the game. The moment you stop arguing, the moment you start responding with calm, collected truth, And the moment you create distance from the chaos, they lose their power and you get your life back. Protect your energy like it's currency, because it is. People don't realize this until they're drained, worn out, running on fumes, wondering how they got so far from themselves. But everything you do, every decision you make, every person you let close, it costs you something. Some people pay you back in peace, others charge you in chaos. And if you don't learn the difference, life will teach it to you the hard way. Energy is your real wealth. Your focus, your mindset, your spirit, that's the real capital. That's what builds your future. That's what shapes your days. That's what determines who you become. And the crazy part is, most people invest more carefully in their bank account than in their own mental and emotional balance. They'll guard money with their whole chest, but let anyone walk in and withdraw from their soul. You gotta switch that up. You gotta start treating your energy like something valuable, something limited, something only the deserving get access to. Because once your energy goes, everything else falls with it. Your motivation, your discipline, your clarity. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your energy's low, your potential stays locked. There are people who walk into your life and either multiply your energy or drain it like they came with a hole in their spirit. You know the type, the ones who always need something, always complaining, always pulling from you, never pouring back. Every conversation feels heavy. Every interaction feels like work. Every moment around them dims you a little more. And then there are people who lift you, people who add, people who bring light, bring ideas, bring peace, bring growth. Those people are rare. That's why you protect your energy for them. You don't waste it on the ones who only show up to take. You got to start asking yourself, who do I feel like after I leave this person? Do you feel drained? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel calmer, lighter, clearer? Or do you feel confused, tense, irritated? Your body already knows. Your spirit already knows. You just got to start listening. Protecting your energy don't mean you stop loving people. It don't mean you turn cold. It don't mean you isolate. It simply means you stay conscious. You stay aware of who gets access. You stay intentional about where you place your time, your heart, your mind. Because your energy determines your elevation. You can't rise while dragging dead weight. Some people won't like it when you protect your energy. They'll call you distant. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you changed. And they're right. You did change. You stopped being available for what drains you. You stopped letting other people's storms enter your atmosphere. You stopped letting chaos be comfortable around you. That's not selfish. That's self-respect. That's understanding your worth. That's knowing you're not built to be a battery for someone else's emptiness. You're here to build something real with your life. And you can't do that if you're constantly emotionally bankrupt. Emotional bankruptcy is when you give so much of yourself away that nothing is left for your dreams, your goals, your growth. You start losing your spark. You start moving slow. You start settling for less. That's why protecting your energy is survival, spiritual survival, mental survival, even physical survival. And part of protecting your energy is learning how to say no. A strong no will save you from years of stress. A calm no will protect you from people who don't protect you. A confident no will remind you of your power. You don't owe anyone access. You don't owe anyone constant availability. You don't owe anyone the pieces of you that take the longest to rebuild. Give your energy to people who value it. Give your time to people who appreciate it. Give your presence to people who honor it. Give your heart to people who protect it like you do. Because when you protect your energy, your mind gets clearer, your path gets straighter, your decisions get sharper, and your future gets brighter. Your energy is the foundation of everything you build. Guard it like it's gold. Spend it like it's limited. Invest it where it grows. And never let anyone bankrupt your spirit again. Shift focus from pleasing them to upgrading yourself. That's a whole mindset shift. That's the moment you stop living on other people's expectations and start living on your own purpose. Because when you're stuck trying to please someone who never appreciates, never acknowledges, never shows love back, you're basically pouring your time, your energy, your identity into a bottomless pit. And no matter how much you give, it's never enough, because the problem was never you. The problem was who you were giving it to. You spend so much time trying to make them happy, trying to avoid conflict, trying to keep the peace, trying to earn respect that should have been given for free. You bend yourself, shrink yourself, silence yourself, hoping one day they'll wake up and finally see your worth. But people who benefit from your self-abandonment don't suddenly grow a conscience. They don't suddenly start appreciating you. They don't suddenly realize your value. So you gotta shift the energy. You gotta redirect that focus from trying to make them feel comfortable to making yourself feel powerful. Everything you've been giving away, your time, your effort, your care, your patience, your loyalty, imagine what happens when you put all of that into your own growth. Imagine what you become if you stopped chasing validation and started chasing evolution. That's when life changes, because pleasing people is a trap. It's an addiction. It keeps you spinning around their needs while ignoring your own. It keeps you in a cycle where your worth depends on their mood. It keeps you searching for acceptance in places that only know how to take, not give. But upgrading yourself, that's freedom. That's movement. That's choosing to level up instead of staying stuck in circles that don't elevate you. When you shift that focus, you start seeing your life differently. You start realizing how much you've been holding yourself back, trying to keep the wrong people satisfied. You start recognizing all the areas you've been neglecting: your dreams, your health, your money, your peace, your ambition. And suddenly, you don't want to lose yourself anymore. Suddenly, you want more. You want better. You want growth. Upgrading yourself doesn't mean you stop caring for people. It means you stop destroying yourself for people who wouldn't even build with you. It means you stop choosing them over you. It means you stop negotiating your worth in situations that don't honor it. You start investing in your mind. You start investing in your skills. You start investing in your habits. You start investing in your healing. You start investing in your direction. You start doing the things that elevate you instead of drain you. You start surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, not people who use you. You start putting energy into becoming the person you were supposed to be before their opinions got in the way. And once you start upgrading yourself, the whole dynamic changes. You stop feeling desperate for approval. You stop bending to make people stay. You stop over-explaining, over-giving, overcompensating. You stop trying to convince people who were committed to misunderstanding you from the start. Because someone who sees you improving, someone who sees you growing, someone who sees you rising, they can't control you anymore. Your self-focus breaks their hold. Your evolution makes their manipulation irrelevant. Your elevation makes their opinion small. And the most beautiful part, when you shift your focus to yourself, you finally meet the version of you that was hidden behind all the pleasing. A stronger you, a clearer you, a wiser you. The you that isn't built on fear or insecurity. The you that doesn't need external approval to feel worthy. The you that knows exactly who you are and where you're going. That's what upgrading yourself is. It's reclaiming your life. It's choosing purpose over people pleasing. It's choosing growth over guilt. It's choosing direction over distraction. You don't need to please anyone to be enough. You don't need to earn what you already deserve. You don't need to chase people who wouldn't even walk for you. Put that energy into becoming the best version of yourself. Put that time into building your goals. Put that focus into your path. Put that love back into your own heart. Because the moment you shift focus from pleasing them to upgrading yourself, you stop losing and you start winning. You stop shrinking and you start expanding. You stop surviving and you start becoming. Walk away from the chaos and walk toward your purpose. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest moves you'll ever make. Because chaos doesn't always look wild at first. Sometimes chaos looks familiar. Sometimes it looks like people you love. Sometimes it looks like the life you got used to. Sometimes it looks like comfort wrapped in dysfunction. And that's why so many people stay stuck, not because they don't want better, but because they don't know how to leave what's draining them. But there's a point where you got to look at your life and be honest with yourself, honest about what's helping you grow and what's holding you back, honest about what brings you peace and what brings you problems, honest about who you're becoming and who you're pretending to be. Chaos will disguise itself as normal until you step back and realize how much it's been costing you. Your sleep, your focus, your confidence, your direction, your spirit. And the truth is, you can't build anything solid while living in confusion. You can't hear your calling when you're surrounded by noise. You can't move toward purpose when you're trapped inside cycles that keep you exhausted and off balance. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's recognizing that your life is bigger than the arguments, the drama, the inconsistencies, the emotional roller coasters. It's recognizing that not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people are assignments you already completed. Some situations are chapters that already taught you what you needed to know. Some environments are too small for the version of you that's growing. Purpose doesn't live in chaos. Purpose lives in clarity. Purpose grows in peace, direction, and intention. When you walk away from chaos, you're not running, you're choosing. Choosing your mental health, choosing your progress, choosing your future, choosing your evolution. You don't need to explain why you're leaving the chaos. You don't need to justify your decision to anyone. You don't need to get permission to protect your life. When something interrupts your peace consistently, it becomes a barrier to your purpose. And you weren't put on this earth to survive every day. You were put here to build, to learn, to grow, to become something meaningful. You can't do that with people who treat your peace like it's optional. You can't do that in places where you're always tense. You can't do that with energy that keeps pulling you backwards. Sometimes walking away is the only real act of self-respect you have left. Sometimes your silence speaks louder than any argument you could ever win. Sometimes distance is the only language chaos understands. And the moment you step away from what's draining you, something happens. Your mind opens up, your vision sharpens, your intuition gets louder. You start hearing yourself again. You start remembering what you wanted before life complicated everything. You start feeling that spark inside you that you forgot you had, because purpose has a pull. It's quiet, but it's strong. It doesn't beg for attention, but it keeps tapping on your spirit. And every time you ignore it for chaos, you feel that ache, that tiredness, that emptiness. That's your soul telling you you're off track. Walking toward your purpose means walking toward alignment. It means walking toward peace. It means walking toward the life you deserve and the person you were meant to become. Purpose won't compete with distractions. It waits for you to clear the noise. It waits for you to get serious. It waits for you to choose growth over habits and healing over hurt. And once you start moving toward your purpose, everything shifts. Your standards shift. Your mindset shifts. Your circle shifts. Your priorities shift. You stop settling for chaos because you finally tasted clarity. You stop giving energy to toxic situations because you finally understand your value. You stop participating in drama because you're too focused on destiny. Walking away is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the moment you stop surviving the storm and start building your own sky. It's the moment you stop living on reaction and start living on intention. It's the moment you stop being who they wanted you to be and start being who you were born to be. Walk away from the chaos. Walk toward your purpose. Your future is too important, your peace is too precious, and your calling is too real to keep wasting time in places that can't grow with you.